Hello and welcome to the Community Show. I'm James Carlin and today we've got Hamish with us here. Hi Hamish.
Morning everyone.
How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're standing in for Miles today.
Big boots to fill.
Big boots to fill. Yeah. And but you actually went to school with Miles, didn't you?
We did. Yes, we went to school in Coombe Down, in Bath. So we've known each other for quite a while.
Yeah.
And now we play football together as well. So.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
Come back together later in life.
Yeah. Well, as you know, this is the community show that we do every Thursday, and the idea is that we talk to people that have worked with 3SG, so the charity that I run. We talk to people doing lots of different community activity right across Bath, and volunteers, all the different types of community activity basically. So today we've got you on the show because you've just launched a really exciting new project that I think is probably one of the first that we've seen in Bath. Is that right?
Yeah, it's sort of new in many ways. It's also, I guess, going back to Bath's local food culture as well, and it's kind of reviving market gardens around Bath. So we're middle ground growers, so we run the Bath Veg Box scheme at the moment. We've been growing for a few years on leased land, a small market garden. So we just grow vegetables, we deliver them by bike, provide for the local community and also supply local restaurants. And now we've just launched this new project to upscale our efforts, widen our impact. So we're starting on 16 acres over in Weston on the other side of Bath. And all the information for that is on our website, middlegroundgrowers.com. And looking forward to kind of sharing about all these different projects that are related to ours as well, and like the local food movement and beyond really. It's both for Bath and beyond Bath, because it's in this context of, climate crisis and food shortages, pandemic, health, all that sort of thing. It's all entangled, so it's both local and sort of global in scope.
Okay, brilliant. Well, we can get into that. We can also get into some of the motivations behind, you getting involved in this project and setting it up. And we can talk a little bit more about the kind of crowdfunder that you've launched as well, which is really exciting. Where are we at on that, just quickly?
Yeah, quick update. I've actually got it in front of me. I'm trying not to check it too often, but we've launched a crowdfunder to fund the new farm just on Sunday. So it's only been a few days. We've got a target of 95,000, and we've raised. It's £4 away from 25,000.
£4 away.
So if anyone goes on there, it's £4, you'll get a special shout out.
Nice. Okay. Let's see. We'll play a track, and then we'll see that if we get a £4 donation in that cap.
It's Ecological Farm for Bath. It should come up as
Ecological Farm for Bath. Brilliant. All right. Well, let's play a tune, and then we'll see how that goes.
I said
Hi and welcome back. So it's James Carlin here from 3SG, and I've got Hamish here from Middle Ground Growers. We're doing the community show today here on Radio Bath. Oh, hi Hamish.
Hello, welcome back.
So just before we went to that tune by Tim Deluxe, we were looking at your crowdfunder, which is done extremely well, I think. So it's been launched for 2 days, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, pretty much 3 full days. We're just in the early phases of it, and we sort of expect a bit of a flurry at the start and a bit of a flurry at the end. So it's now kind of keeping the momentum going throughout, really, and keeping it going.
Brilliant. So in case anyone hasn't heard of you and what you're doing and what your motivations are, so how did you end it? And because you're in your 20s, aren't you? Early 20s?
Yes. Yeah, I'm 23. Yeah.
23. So how have you found yourself at 23 buying a farm and having this vision for creating an ecological farm in Bath?
Yeah, so I'm the youngest of the 4 in our team in Middle Ground Growers. So we're like a core team of 4. And I guess I came into it quite early, really. Sort of when I was 16, I moved on to a canal boat and started, sort of growing locally allotments and things like that. And that kind of just connects me to a very different way of life. Living on the water and growing food and I was very into the self-sufficiency thing and all of that. So I was, it was very much like looking towards like work in that area somewhere, and like loved being outside, working outside. So as soon as I got this opportunity, when I left school at 18, went off travelling, went around different ecological farms around the world, from New Zealand to Palestine, South Asia, India. So I basically used the sort of woofing and workaway networks, which means you can kind of work and volunteer on different farms and get your board and just learn all you can and work with a load of cool people. So it's kind of used that to gain quite a variety of experiences on different farms, both on quite kind of traditional indigenous farms, like in India, where they were using agroecology and permaculture, but not calling them those new trendy words. It was just farming and traditional farming there. And also on, newer farms in Europe that were really, pioneering also a new way of agroecology which is really growing food with nature and like returning to that. So that really sparked a good interest. And then learning about permaculture as well from a young age, kind of really got me into like the solution side of things. And interesting, I came into that first before fully going in deeper into the problems and into like the ecological crisis. So I think that was quite critical. It's something I'm still exploring, is like launching into the solutions and getting excited about that first. Almost keeps the motivation going, and then going into learning about all of the kind of more challenging realities of ecological crisis and things like that. So that was actually my next step, was kind of launching into environmental activism. So we went into that with Extinction Rebellion, the youth climate strikes and all of that, because I came back home and just felt very disillusioned with it all. And then the kind of merging of those two perspectives is now coming now, where I'm trying to really like implement sort of concrete solutions. And I really think starting from food and land is very important. Like just really starting with where we are, like what's beneath our feet, where does the food we eat come from? Really like big, we're just like starting to try and do that, really, and working with other local growers to kind of try and shift Bath's food supply to a more localised source. So I guess I kind of came with those two motivations of both like confronting that reality of ecological crisis and where we're at with that, and also from that kind of hopeful permacultural mindset of really like, these are the solutions, let's crack on with them. So a bit of both, really.
Wow, that's really interesting. And so there's 4 of you in the team, is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yes, myself, Xavier Hamon, Olivia Rhodes, and Sammy Elmore. So we all came together really mainly in 2019. Actually, it was kind of during it was both through some environmental activism and through some local food projects. So we began growing at Middle Ground Growers together. We'd also worked on various different farms before. Xavier had a background in agroecology in France as well, and working with various NGOs, organic farming in the UK. Livy had worked both for organic flower farms and different growing projects around the area as well. Sammy has a background on an equestrian farm, learning like a variety of different practical skills, building skills. He's great with like machinery and tools and everything like that. Nice, so we brought all these different skills together, both in business and administrative and growing and practical as well. And it was really like a an amazing moment that, like in 2019, and especially in lockdown, where we all just growing together. We're all figuring out what we can do, how we can put these skills into best use. And then we launched the VegBox scheme. And then 2020, it really took off, and we had lots more VegBox subscribers. Now we're up to 70 VegBoxes a week, delivering by bike around Bath. And again, there's just more and more demand for local food. A lot of people really, enjoying that sort of community that comes through it as well.
Brilliant.
So that's kind of where we're at the moment. And now we're looking to upscale that to supply several hundred VegBoxes and really widen the impact.
Nice. Okay, we'll talk about the kind of next steps in a minute. Before that, we're going to play a tune that you've picked, which is I Will Wait by Mumford & Sons. Is this one of your favourites?
I like it. Yeah, just sort of just sort of on the spot. Is good, energetic tune.
All right, nice.
It was good for your mornings.
Great, we'll play that then now. Cheers.
And I fell heavy into your arms. These days of dust, which we've known, will blow away with this new sun. But I'll kneel down, wait for now. And I'll kneel down, know my ground. And I will wait for you. And I will wait for you. So break my step and relent. Well, you forgave and I won't forget. Know what we've seen and him with less. Now in some way shake the excess. 'Cause I will wait for you. And I will wait for you. And I will wait for you. And I will wait for you. Now I'll be bold as well as strong, and use my head alongside my heart. So tame my flesh and fix my eyes. A tethered mind freed from the lies. And I'll kneel down, wait for now. I'll kneel down, know my ground.
Hello and welcome back to the Community Show with James, and I've got Hamish here from Middle Ground Growers, who's been giving us a really interesting insight into their exciting plans to create a new farm for Bath, which hasn't happened for, well, many hundreds of years, we think. So before we talk more with Hamish, I'm just going to do our usual rundown of some of the community news that we've got on our radar this week. So first one is Bath Spa University are relaunching their Bath Spa internship scheme. So this year they offer part-fund internships where all kinds of organisations have an opportunity to work with and benefit from the skills of one of their students. And actually, alongside the skills of the student, you can also benefit from some funding. So if you can find 70 to 120 hours, if that would be a benefit to your organisation, then Bath Spa will make a funding contribution of £500. Or if you've got a small project or some work that needs doing of 140 hours or more, then they'll make a funding contribution of £1,000. This is something that 3SG has used in the past. It's been really helpful. It really provides skills for a young person that's looking for a way into the job market. Really enhances their employability skills. So yeah, have a look at that. That's the Bath Spa University Bath Spa Works internship scheme. We've also got something with a deadline coming up this next week, which is actually relevant to Hamish as well, who's here today. So this is the Bath and West Community Energy Fund, and that's open for applications up until the 5th of November. This supports local community projects that target the reduction of carbon emissions and or fuel poverty. And if you look around Bath and beyond, you will see a lot of charities, organisations, businesses that have benefited from working with BWC in the past. So again, have a look on our website. It's 3sg.org.uk. Under news, you can find more details of that fund, which is finishing next week. Finally, we have news from Your Park Bristol and Bath, and they've just launched their inaugural Love Your Park Community Fund, and they funded a number of groups in the Bath area with this, and I was actually part of the panel that was working on this. So Blooming White Way they funded, and to create a natural seating and a bee-friendly planting and a memorial area for local people to reflect and rest. We've got a Grow Bath Eastern, which is a group I know that Hamish, who's with me today, has met and worked with, and they're an enthusiastic group of volunteers in Bath Eastern. They're going to use this funding to create a wildflower meadow and discuss how they can collaborate to bring nature into urban spaces in Bath Eastern. Keynsham Abbey Working Group have also been funded, and they're bringing life into the Abbey site and within the Keynsham Memorial Park, and they're going to be doing planting and actually using and planting herbs that would have been grown at the Abbey, which is sort of rekindling some of its original origins. And and then finally, I'm just going to do a quick run through of some of the jobs that are out there at the moment. So most of these jobs have deadlines at the end of the week. So Baines Carers Centre looking for a chief exec. We're still looking for an administrator at 3SG. That expires at the end of the week. We've had a number of applications, but do get in touch if you want to join our team and work with myself and Miles. Off the Record are looking for a head of wellbeing. Bath City Farm have got a people and office manager vacancy. A new one from IFAD Arts, who are looking for a finance officer. So as we've talked about on the show before, sometimes if you haven't considered a career in the charity sector, there are actually all kinds of supportive administrative roles that you can get involved with at a charity that make a huge difference. So have a look at that. Senior fundraising officer at Designability, head of fundraising and marketing for Bibbitch, who work with young people, support worker at Freeways, and then a number of support jobs with Swallow. So that's a little roundup of the news and events this week. I'm going to come back to Hamish, who's with me today from Middle Ground Growers. Hi, Hamish.
Morning, everyone.
You okay?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Great. So before we played a few tunes, we were talking about the project that you're running at the moment. Could you tell us what the next steps would be? So you're currently at, let me just double check, 24,956. Got there in the end.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, I can't believe it myself. So where we're at, I guess at the moment, we've just got to the end of our summer veg boxes, so we're kind of going into like this winter planning and launching the new projects, crowdfunding, and whilst doing some winter veg boxes as well. So we're currently doing about 65 boxes a week, and supplying a few local restaurants, and the next steps, I guess, in the next few years, well, the details are outlined on the crowdfunder page. But the vision is for an agroecological farm. So we've collectively purchased 16 acres in Weston. We've gained planning permission for a solar barn and polytunnels to extend the growing season and start off our seedlings. And we're planting over 10,000 trees, including a lot of mixed fruit orchards, nut species, and all these sort of long-term projects that we couldn't do on our previous leased land, but now we can really kind of put in some long-term plans. And the whole farm design that we've been going through like a year-long process, really, of it's a permaculture design process. So that means it's observing and interacting with the land. We've had like water surveys, ecologists, and we're kind of gathering all this information, trialing small things, and learning from our previous plot as well. So from all of that, we've come to this like holistic farm design basically, and it mixes both trees with growing and ecological restoration with growing. So it's kind of this idea of restoration farming as well. So over winter we'll be planting the orchard, we'll be beginning the solar barn build, we'll be putting up the polytunnels, we'll be creating the new market garden. So it'll be a few acres of no-till market garden, as well as alley crops, growing horticulture between orchard tree rows. Sorry, lots of farming jargon.
That's all right.
But so we'll be growing all these. So we're really trying to like upscale to be able to grow like field crops as well, in an ecological way with cover cropping and organic methods and things like that. So we're integrating these aspects of market garden, providing like the fresh produce, perennial plants like berries, fruit trees, nut trees, also with coppice, and providing the fuel and timbers. So it's not the same as kind of in industrial monoculture farming where there's one element and it's ploughed up, quite intensive agriculture. It's very different. It's mixed, which actually suits. It's working with nature more really, and it's actually more productive as well.
Brilliant. And so if someone's listening to this and they think, I'd quite like to get involved in that, how could they do that?
Yes, there's lots of ways. We do volunteering, which we post about on social media a bit on Middle Ground Growers. We also have on our website, we put out some things. So we'll be planting the orchard, things like that over winter if you want to get physically involved. There's also lots of kind of support roles. We're new to some of the business side of these and finances and all of that, and we love any help with those sort of things, and planning. And other ways to get involved are really through the crowdfunder. Even you can contribute a small amount to this really tangible project, and just contact us and sort of let us know. We've had people contacting that are doing masters in cooperative agroecology and looking to kind of explore the practical as well as the theoretical things like that. So we're also interested in that side of things, like the research and learning, and whatever you're doing really, it can be related to farming is my message. Activism, politics, all of these are all incredibly related as well.
Because I mean, it's a very tangible crowdfunder, isn't it? Because someone could go and put a tenner on there.
Yeah.
That is going to be a tree in your orchard, isn't it?
Yeah. And you can even name that tree. We've got a series of fun rewards. So
nice.
There's been a lot of popular ones of naming fruit trees, naming polytunnels.
Oh, brilliant. I'm just looking out on the crowdfund now. So for £20 you get a thank you on social media. £50 you get a personalised postcard. Is that signed by you, Hamish?
We'll sign it as a little picture of Spud the farm dog as well. And
oh, nice. Yeah. £100 donation you get a calendar, seasonal calendar.
Yeah.
£150 you get to name a fruit tree. That's a nice one. Yeah. And did they get to eat some of the fruit?
Yes, you can come and eat some fruit from your tree.
Nice, in a few years.
Or nuts or whatever.
Yeah. I won't go through all of them. There's actually lots and lots of different rewards here, aren't there? But
we've worked with kind of local restaurant outlets and things like that. They've offered things like chef demos, how to cook with the local produce, all of that sort of thing as well. Farm tours, workshops. So there's a load of things, because it's also a way to kind of keep people's involvement. People don't just donate one-off, but you can actually donate and see how the project progresses and stay involved.
Great, brilliant. Okay, well, we're going to play another tune and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more.
We saw our breath illuminate.
Hello, welcome back to the community show with James and Hamish. It's only my fourth show. It's bound to happen. Sorry about that. Just a little drum, just a little button that I've got that does like a little drum fill.
It's just your intro music.
It's my intro music, yeah. Well, if a few people might know, but I do make music in my spare time. What little spare time I do have, and it is on my to-do list to make a little jingle for the show. So
nice. Look forward to that.
Perhaps this weekend I can do that. So apologies for that. So Hamish, you're here. You're from Middle Ground Growers. We've been talking about the farm, your projects, the crowdfunder. What are some of the organisations that you work with? Because on the show, on the community show, we're really interested in there's hundreds and hundreds of charities, social enterprises working across Bath and the surrounding area. What are some of the organisations you've been working with?
Yes, there's both like on the local level. There's different land-based organisations, tree planting groups like More Trees for Baines. So we're looking to put in another community tree nursery out at the land in Weston. So we've got one on our current plot. So there we're like More Trees Baines' vision for that is like creating this whole network of community tree nurseries that we grow from local seed, produce tree saplings to plant out in our communities and around the land around Bath. So we're working closely with them to basically have more trees around here and productive fruit trees as well as all sorts of other multi-use trees.
I've always liked their charity name. It does the job.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's
more trees for Baines. Okay,
more trees.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we've got all these planting pledges for millions of trees everywhere, and there's actually very little local stock for these. So the issue is how it could just be imported trees. It might not be right. It might not be locally specific and contextually dependent. So we've been working with them. There's also Grow Bath Eastern, kind of our neighbours over the other side of the river, who are working on local growing projects. There's local farms. There's Undercliff Urban Farm. We've got Avonlea Orchards in Bradford-on-Avon, Grown Green. So a lot of our we're trying to really collaborate to actually have a bit of a producers cooperative eventually, I guess, like having a way to kind of combine all these local producers in some way to actually really shift Bath's food system towards really local, because so many shops and restaurants and individual families, households are really looking to really shift towards where their food comes from. So we're still in the very early raw stages, but also working with Bath Organic Growers, the Growers Alliance, to kind of build that local food movement. And then on the other side of all this is the kind of more national, larger groups that we have links with. So that's really looking at the broader systemic thing of the food system in the UK. So the Land Workers Alliance, the one we work really closely with, we run traineeships with them. So we provide the on-farm trainee experience where people can learn about market gardening, organic growing. And then Land Workers Alliance provide a lot of workshops, farm tours, linking up everyone around the country. And there we really got a sense of how it's not just us, it's not even just Bath, it's it's similar happening in lots of places. There's lots of market gardens springing up, being revived, local food cultures, farmers markets. It is although it's been on the decline for decades, it is kind of on the rise. So it's really important for us to also link into that broader movement as well. And Land Workers Alliance.
Brilliant. And there's it's proven benefits of for people's mental health as well, isn't it? For actually coming out and volunteering and getting involved in nature projects.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's and the same for us as well. It's just us working on that. It's also we found it's just a really rewarding, fulfilling work, and that's something in itself. If we can train more people to also take on land-based livelihoods, it really does actually return to that sense of regenerative livelihoods, meaningful work and things like that. So we're kind of also we've got this sort of ecological crisis and things we're fighting, quite practical things. There's also this mental health crisis. There's all these things about an actually nature connection and returning to the land and the source of our food, and the community it's created around local food is so important. It's it all brings it all together, and actually it's massive benefits for mental health and well-being, community, everything like that.
Yeah, brilliant. I went out to visit the community farm out in Chew Magna last week, and they've got they're kind of 10 years ahead of you, I guess, where you are now.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of those kind of projects where people are coming on the farm, young people learning about different foods, different ways of growing. It's great to see that. I think we need we really need to help educate our children about where food comes from, what organic means. So one of our sort of regular features of the show is a bit of a jargon buster. So we're going to flip that on his head, and we're going to do a growing one. So what does organic mean when you're talking about food and growing?
So I guess I distinguish between like two types of organic. There's like the lowercase o organic, which is really our kind of organic growing. It's about basically, in its essence, organic growing is growing without the need of artificial inputs, chemicals, pesticides, fertilizers, all these things that are depleting soil, putting pollutants in the water and in the air. So that's organic in its base level. And there's also this sort of the bigger sort of commercialized organic, I guess, which is the certification around organic. I guess like the danger here is also don't want to add too much complexity to the Mythbuster, but the danger here is also that big organic farms and industrial organic is not necessarily the same as small local organic. So that's between the big capital O organic and the lowercase. So you can have industrial organic. That's, we can have organic fruit flown in from across the world, and they might have just replaced sprays with things that are organic certified. It could still be tilling the soil. It could be really bad for ecology. It could be a monoculture. So there's much more to the debate than organic. It goes very much beyond that. So we're also trying to push this thing of restoration agriculture and regenerative, which is actually just about farming with nature, basically, and not working against nature. Not only not using those chemicals, but also not disturbing the soil so much. Integrating trees and orchards into the growing of vegetables. So there's so many things like beyond the organic, and that element of education and community. That's actually, there's not really a word or a certification for that, but bringing those into the farm is about that small local organic farm movement, but it's not necessarily associated with it in the big scale terms of things.
That's a good jargon buster. There you go. That's the 60-second introduction to organic farming, which is great. So I think it's time for us to play a tune, and then we'll come back and we'll just talk about what some of those next steps are, how people can get involved. So going to play. Let's play a song with a fitting title. So this is "Dreamer" by Living Joy. Hi, and welcome back to the community show. Hamish, are you a dreamer?
Yes, I'm a dreamer.
I'm a dreamer. I think it's good to be a dreamer, isn't it?
Exactly, got to balance it, yeah.
So we've just got a couple of minutes left, and we've been talking the whole show about your exciting plans to create this ecological farm for Bath. We talked about who you've been working in partnership with, talked about the crowdfunder, talked about some of your inspiration about getting involved. So, what are some of the things that people could do next? We've talked about they could volunteer, but it's about sharing the message, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we want kind of part of my aim is like for everyone to become an advocate for local food and to start both kind of shifting our own local food habits, asking like where our food comes from, and then when we next go to the shop of like what's the impact of that growing, because all food does have impact that's grown. Some of it can have a very positive regenerative impact, some of it can have a degenerative impact as well. So I encourage people to sort of get involved both in their own lives and their own sort of accountability, but I think more than that, it's just like talking about it with other people. We found really with the Veg Box scheme that people are really like the gathering community around it. We have like drop-off hubs around Bath. We have local restaurants that have the veg boxes.
Let's talk about that a little bit. So what are some of those sort of local restaurants and businesses?
Yeah, so we've got Oak Restaurant, previously called Acorn. They've grown and blossomed.
The vegan.
Yes, that's it. Yes, a plant-based award-winning restaurant in Bath. So they're really into building their menu around like local seasonal produce, which is amazing because we work with the chefs there, and we like say what's coming up in December, and then they go, okay, we'll make a menu around that, rather than the other way around of this, having to have tomatoes commercially available all year round, which is, you've got to work against nature to have that, basically.
Yeah. So
then we've got Landrace Bakery as well, which some people might know of, and the new restaurant Landrace upstairs. So that's also become a hub where we drop off veg boxes every week. People come and collect them. They collect. There's other local suppliers to that place as well. They get local flour, all of this. So people come in, on Fridays, pick up their veg box, get their local bread. So it's become a really hub of people like sharing recipes, what they're going to do with the veg. We share a bit about how this is grown, what to do with this. Sometimes the chefs input and say, oh, we do this with radishes, or
nice,
this is what we do with the tomatoes. And so that's really cool. It's just getting people excited basically about local food, and also showing we can actually live not only more ecological but more actually enjoyable, high quality life, because we reach with this beautiful healthy food, and it's actually better value because we're not doing harm to our bodies, and we're not reaping all these environmental costs as well.
So have you got any plans to work with any other cafes, restaurants in Bath?
So we're currently working with Scoop, which is a sort of zero waste shop just up the road from here, and Harvest. So really like these whole food shops and zero waste ones that are really getting into how they can also deliver fresh produce as well. So we're really looking to build upon that and hopefully grow more for them. There's some shops and restaurants around Weston which are sort of in the pipeline. There's also a new farm up at Lansdowne with a new farm shop, Lilliput Farm, we're hoping to potentially work with and supply. We're open to local groups, organisations getting involved as well, because we're,
brilliant.
As I say, we're upscaling the growing, so we're looking to just get more local food really gradually, percentage by percentage, have more of Bath food grown locally.
Great. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. That's just about the end of the time we've got. Final, just how can people find you on social media?
It's Middle Ground Growers social media. We're sort of launching there's an 8-week crowdfunder story that we'll be sharing on social media of all the updates, all the story behind the farm and the people and all the groups we work with. We'll be shouting out to people that contributing as well. So brilliant. Follow that, and thanks for having me on. And
nice, no problem. And our last song is vaguely farm themed. So this is Sunflower by Post Malone. And thank you for listening to the community show this week. We'll see you next week.
Thanks everyone.
Needless to say, I keep
control, and you'll be left in the dust unless I stuck by you. You're the sunflower